Good afternoon, Shavua Tov everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm your host, Raylene Marks, and we're delighted to bring you those top stories from Israel Monday to Thursday, right here on this very platform. And how are you all doing? We here in Israel are slowly but surely starting to come out of our lockdown. I was out earlier today getting some fresh air for the first time in what feels like ages, and it is encouraging to see that people are out, albeit observing very, very strict social distancing and hygiene norms. So let's take a look at those top stories, and of course dominating the news is the coronavirus and where Israel is with our stats and our progress. Yesterday some of the kindergartens went back, or at least the private kindergartens opened up, and the Finance Ministry has appealed now for all kindergartens to open up, and there's also a likelihood that all remaining classes that haven't gone back to school yet will start going back. Also opening today are the parks for people to walk in, to explore, to get some very, very necessary fresh air. That's what I did a little bit earlier today, and it was just so lovely to see. The Treasury has confirmed that it will give the national airline El Al a $400 million bailout. I think most airlines have been hit very, very badly by the coronavirus, and Israel's stats continue to be on a positive trajectory. Just 15 new infections, 15 in the last 24 hours, which is in line with the three important metrics that we are measuring our progress by, so as to approach more and more of our exit strategy. So let's look at those stats. From the start of the pandemic, confirmed cases were at 16,492. Of that, 4,795 are still infected. This is a 40 or a drop of 40 since yesterday, and a staggering 11,430 have fully recovered. Israel's death rate or fatalities are at 252, and we have 73 people in serious condition with 64 on ventilators. These are very, very important statistics as we measure those metrics. And also very interesting news coming out today, and that's that at least 3 Gulf states, including the UAE and Bahrain, and the third is remaining anonymous, have approached Israel to work in partnership on how to combat the spread of COVID-19, and they've said that they are quite willing to partner up with Israel as far as finding a vaccine is concerned. Last week it was announced that we had found a very, very important antibody. Our Defense Ministry and our Institute of Biological Research had isolated a very important antibody. By the end of last week they had isolated another 3 very important antibodies, but I must just stress this is not the vaccine that we're all waiting for. So maybe in partnership with the Gulf states, who knows what we can find. And they've also appealed to Sheba Medical Center for help, and Sheba have said whatever they need in telemedicine or in any other kind of help, maybe remote research, the Institute is very, very happy to help these states. So it's evidence that the winds in the Middle East certainly are changing. But our last story is one of great concern, and that is the New York Times. It is no big secret that the New York Times, as of the last couple of years, has taken an extremely biased stance against Israel, and we've become quite used to that. But at the moment, when the world is looking for ways to partner and to fight coronavirus, it's not just tone deaf, but extremely discriminatory to tweet out an article about Israel's tremendous efforts in this arena to try and find cures for corona, to tweet that with the Ministry of Defense normally looks for solutions to kill people and blow things up. Yep, that was the tweet that accompanied an article, and it's a great pity because the contents of the article are really, really great. But this was the tweet that accompanied that by the New York Times. And as you can imagine, it has opened up a lot of concern, a lot of organizations contacting the New York Times, a lot of individuals saying that this is not the language that is needed right now as we all face a common enemy. And it displays once again the extreme anti-Israel bias that the New York Times seems to exhibit, and also the isolating of the IDF, which is the treatment that any other army would not be given, is also an example of anti-Semitism. So as you can imagine, the Twitter sphere and the editor section of the New York Times have been inundated with comments and letters from around the world from people expressing their dismay at the newspaper. So those are the top stories making headlines today. You can check out our content online at our website at www.layoftheland.online. You can read all about Gail Loon Lustig's father, who was a champion boxer, his journey from Lithuania to South Africa and then to Israel. You can also check it out on our Facebook page at Lottel's site. Give us a like, give us a follow, share our content, and don't forget that you play a very important part in ensuring that Israel's narrative gets out to the world. You can do this by visiting our YouTube channel. Yep, we're on YouTube as well at The Israel Brief. Click on the subscribe button and let's get that all-important news out. So with today's edition of The Israel Brief, I'm asking you to please stay safe and stay healthy. I'm Raylene Marks.